Now, I got a message over here saying that this is being live streamed, Peter. Would you say it's green light go, bud?
Almost.
Almost. You give me the thumbs up. I'm pulling open YouTube.
All right, we are live.
We are live. Now, I got a message over here saying that this is being live streamed, Peter. Would you say? Wait a minute. I can't leave my YouTube open. I'm getting feedback. I'm going to close that.
All right, we're live.
Well, we are officially live. All right. Let me fix that crap later. Okay. Peter, we are back again on a Saturday night live rad RC show. YouTube streaming, and hopefully this all goes off without a glitch, because we need to be professionals tonight, Peter, because we have someone special with us, Mr. Nick Barber, RC Jesus. So I want to make sure we kind of look like we know what the hell we're doing. Peter, how the heck are you?
Good, man. It's been a busy week getting back. It's the first week back from Disney. It's catching up with work, the RC life, building, and yeah, it's been busy, man. Yeah, it's good to be back on the show again, and
it feels good. I mean, the weeks are flying by. I know people that don't understand what happens behind the scenes can't really get a full appreciation for this, but we might look like a bunch of amateurs and rookies up here, but there's a crap ton of work that goes into this. There is sacrifice of time and planning. It's not easy for we can say it's easy, but there's a lot of work that goes into this behind the scenes.
Yeah, and getting everybody together, setting up the meeting, clearing people's schedules. I know you had a conflict, and it's life happens. It's hard to commit to Saturdays, but we do the best we can, and we get on when we can. And
so, Peter, I mean,
yeah,
you nailed it. Literally, I just came running in here from a full-blown day with family. Sent my daughter off to her first prom with the prom date. Seeing these young kids grown up into young adults, time goes by so fast. But yeah, it's coordinating schedules and sacrificing. Sure. I mean, we had to leave an after party early. I bring my wife along with me, my son, everybody gets packed up to run back and to be here for 8 p.m. Eastern, to be here on the show. But yeah, just behind the scenes, a lot of work goes into this. And I thank you personally, Peter, for all you do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And does he like RC cars? Did you ask him?
I honestly, Peter, I don't want my daughter dating some RC nerd. The farther away she stays from this hobby, the better. No, honestly, the kid is great. He's got a mullet. Apparently mullets must be cool now with these kids. But well-rounded, solid kid. He's a football player, so I gotta say nice things. He'll kick my ass.
Well, if he says he likes go fast trucks, I guess he's out.
He's a pickup guy. I can see him. He's always, the one truck that always catches his attention is the SCX6. He sees that and he's like, dude, that thing's ridiculous. Tell me more. But SCX6 is big eye candy. It's catching. Let's get into it here. So, Peter, I know I did throw you a note earlier today. I had a 2-minute segment. I had to make a quick carry-all RC announcement. And I know, Peter, I talked to you throughout the week with what's been going on. There has been a surge among surge. I can't even thank everyone enough for the support and all the hard work that goes into it. But we are selling backpacks faster than I could have ever imagined. And when we were talking about early pre-order launch, we've blown that out of the water. So this is kind of a PSA. Anyone watching our YouTube feed, and hopefully we'll get this shared over to Facebook ASAP. I'm hoping this gets from my mouth to your ears. We are working on them as fast as we can. People have been patient and gracious and understanding and just want that to continue. We are doing the best we can. We were not prepared for the surge that has just come crashing down on us, but we put a solid game plan together for this week to increase the number of bags that we are putting out to double it, maybe even triple the number of bags that we normally would put out. So one of the reasons why is because of Beat the Creek 2 weeks away. Me personally, I don't like to go on it's a business trip. It's not play. Going to Beat the Creek is clearly a part of the puzzle and it needs to be done. But I can't go to that event knowing, we have 50 open orders that still need to be filled. I want to make sure we get as many of these orders filled before Beat the Creek. So my PSA announcement to everyone will be that we are working on them as fast as we can. And then the next thing, Peter, I want to throw you a curveball. This one you were not prepped on, but I want to do a giveaway. But we're not going to do it a one and done. What I want to do, Peter, is give out a letter of each show. We give out the letter of this week's show is this. And after 5 letters, we figure out if they can tell us what it spells, that will put them in that winning bracket. Now, some of that we might have to work out some of the detail on. So maybe this isn't the week to actually get it started, but I think it's going to be a great way to keep people engaged moving forward. And put up a great little prize package, every other week we'll be able to give one away or something, get it in the rotation. I think it would be a great little add-on to keep people tuned in and coming back each week. What do you think?
Yeah, that's good. I like it. Like we mentioned in the past, the show's growing.
Yep.
People want to come on as guests. We got some, we started out with good guests and we're continuing the guest list. So I think by incorporating some kind of giveaway, like we mentioned from day one, that we were eventually going to create this. So I think it's good. We'll start it off. We'll get to the drawing board and maybe kick it off next week.
Perfect. Now, I did line up a great guest for Beat the Creek. So you and I are going to run this show satellite. So you'll be at your home base. We're going to log in from Beat the Creek, and we're going to have Jeremy from Big Squid of Big Everybody Scaling. Jeremy of Big Squid RC will be with us, and he has prepared me and prepped us to say he comes all in. He does not do guests. He does not do guest appearances like a typical guest. So he's like, be prepared. I'm coming hard. And I'm like, Jeremy, that's why we want you. Bring it. Bring it.
I'm excited for that. And for the people that are on and that watch this, that are going to Beat the Creek, I think it would be fun to do a satellite show so I can see what's going on, and kind of, get the people that are live there on the show so we could replay it and save it in the cloud. So I'm looking forward to that. So, for the people on here that watch this, going to Beat the Creek, look for Mike going live on that Saturday.
Yep.
Stop by his booth, say hello, and, I'll be on the other end. So I think that'll be a good broadcast.
That'll be awesome. I love your attire, your shirt tonight. Keep on tiny trucking. Would that happen to be a Crazy Crawler Cult shirt?
That's one of the 55 items I have. In the spirit of the contest, Jesse Parr.
I love it. Great choice.
In the spirit of Crawler Cult, we for the people that don't know, one of the incentives we do on the team for Carryall is we have a monthly contest, and Crawler Cult was the collaborating vendor. We just ended a contest. So in the spirit of Jesse Parr winning, this shirt's for you.
I love it. I love it. And if you're looking for RC attire, some cool RC swag, go check out Crazy Crawler. I'm sorry, I got that all wrong. Crazy Crawler Badass Foams. Crawler Cult. is where Peter got that shirt. I'm rocking some new clothing tonight myself. I think Kentucky Sky is my color. I might give something away if there's somebody out there that can actually read the words and what it says here. Hit me up with a private message if you know what that actually says.
4 designs.
Good guess. There is a hidden little Easter egg built into it. But that is compliments of 2.4 design. Exactly. So if you, again, funny apparel, a good RC swag, RC swag with humor. If you like funny RC shirts, 2.4 designs has what you're looking for. Great shirts to wear to RC events, any time of the day. That's all I wear anymore is RC clothing. But I love your shirt there, Peter. It looks awesome.
This is the first week we didn't wear the same clothes.
Right? How many times, Peter? Every show we're like ripping stuff off. No, dude, we can't wear the same thing. It's crazy.
So before you go into your intro,
yep.
Just run down the list of people.
Please
give a shout out. So Size Matters, what's up? Juicebox RC, Richard Kroon. I see RC Pro Rack, Judd in the house, and everybody else that's joining in. So what's up, guys? Thank you for your support, joining each week. We appreciate it. And the show's only going to get better. And I'm excited for the guest today. Really excited. Good friend of mine. I'll let Mike bring him in, intro, and take it away, Mike.
Well, what I was going to say about Judd. Hey, Judd, spoke to him earlier today. He's still, he has been a busy man. I've been in contact with Judd Rummage of the legend that is RC Pro Rack. If you want to be able to stack your RC vehicles, RC trucks from micro to the big buggy SCX 6 size, the RC Pro Rack is the way to hang your truck on a wall. And one of the new things that Peter and I have been working with him on is they've been the SCX 24 size rack. And he's been a busy man all week, and he's been burning the candle from both ends, trying to get the website set up. The last announcement I got right before the show, I cannot tell you officially that the micro rack is on the website yet, but he is working as hard as he can to get that going. Look at that. Fantastic.
This weekend.
Fantastic. They look great. And obviously we can touch on the micro maybe after the guest is done. I know we want to talk about the Traxxas Axial SCX 24. There you go. I love that blue.
It's my 6 truck that's blue. There's a story why I have blue, but we'll leave that.
I definitely want to hear the story, because you definitely gravitate towards the blue, and I realized I've been gravitating towards gray. I've been looking around; everything's gray.
If you look to the left of me, you can see all blue.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. You're blue addict. But even as one of the science projects that I'm going to be doing this week, what I've started here is a collection of dye. The only one I'm missing right now is yellow. So people have been dyeing chassis and cages and dyeing parts for a long time. I've never done it before. So this is going to be a trial and error, working with Jeremy Kilburn and Corey Allen. They've been giving me tips and tricks how to actually start dyeing this rift cage. But after working with Corey, he kind of convinced me to just go for it. And now I'm going to do it 4 different colors for this autism awareness rift. And then obviously Trill got the better end of my wallet with some of the upgrades that I went crazy on with the rift.
You got to love this week.
It's been a week there with Trill stuff. There's been this like direct shipment, this funnel of parts coming from Trill recently. they've been doing some great work with the micro stuff. They've been on the grind doing their thing. We're approaching the 8:15 hour. I think it's time to bring on our guest. Now, the man that we're bringing on, people are going to know him as RC Jesus. This is kind of this name that he's adopted as he wanted to start making his YouTube and his Facebook channel come to life and be a DIY guru, a place to come to and for guidance. Hey, ask the man, how to do this. He is definitely the person to go to. He's a veteran in the hobby. He clearly knows his way around a workbench, and he's definitely got the skills up top to be able to share some tips with you. But if you judge a book by its cover, never do that, because you can often underestimate someone. And the first time I've seen Nick was at Proline by the Fire. And I just thought, who's this long-haired freaky guy? Like, I didn't know who he was, just outspoken, long hair. Got a chance to meet him at Proline by the Fire. He made his impact on me, clearly left a taste in my mouth after that event. But it was right around that time on Facebook when I started to notice him. And this guy, Peter, you have to remember, if you go back 3 years ago when the Vanquish VS410 was just like front and center, it just came out, everybody's getting this Vanquish. This guy that we're about ready to bring on here blew up the internet with this crazy ass move that to this day, it still makes my eyes hurt, and I can't believe he did it. But he completely spray bombed the entire Vanquish truck, and it gave me a heart attack. I'm like, what did he do? He took it after this, I forget if it was like a green or a red. I'm going to let him tell us how he came up with this idea. Now, it turned out to be the greatest, most genius, brilliant thing that he ever did, because it was genius how the whole build came together. But the shock and awe of seeing this Vanquish and those Curry axles all spray bombed made me never forget who the hell Nick Barber is. I will never forget it. So let's bring this man on here. I want him to chuckle and laugh and explain where he got the inspiration. I know it was where he got the inspiration, but I need to razz him for actually bombing that Vanquish truck with that spray can. What color was it? Was it a red or a green?
It's red. It was International red. Harvester red. That truck got named after that weekend, No Vaseline, because it caused a lot of butt hurt on the internet. I was at East Coast Scale Challenge, and I built the chassis. I'd painted it. I had electronics in it, but I had a few just little odds and ends to finish. Wheels, I'd put tires on the wheels, stuff like that. And we're in the cabins at East Coast Scale Challenge. Now it's known as Slippery Rock Challenge. And Matt Cat's next to me, and I hadn't seen him in several months. And I'm like, hey, buddy, you want to see something? He's like, what? I'm like, check this out. I handed it to him, and he's like, my God, what have you done? And I'm like, no, you don't get it. And I
you don't get it
and stuff. And I'm like, what I did was I sprayed it all. When you paint a tractor, right? Especially like an old 50s, 40s, 60s tractor, the whole thing gets blasted with paint, all the engine, everything, aside from the rubber parts and whatnot. And so I sprayed the chassis the same way. And because I wanted it to look like an old International Harvester 706 tractor, because I worked on my grandparents' farm when I was a kid. And those were some of my favorite tractors to drive, and we always had old Internationals around. So it's kind of like a shout out to my grandpa in my days as a kid on the farm. And then he's like, oh, okay, I get it now. But do you mind if I take a picture? And he just took a picture of him holding it in his hand, outside our cabins, and posted on Scale Builders Guild. And he talked to me like 2 hours later. He's like, my God, dude, the amount of comments I'm getting. People hate you so much right now. And I'm like, oh, really? Oh, well, I'd actually have to care for that to matter.
But the backstory
Right.
and the side-by-side picture,
Yeah.
when you say, well, look at this international, you're like, oh, I get it, dude. That's actually kind of cool. I get it. But the
It
shock
turned out
and
great.
it was that shock and awe of and I had just spent,
Uh-huh.
I just saved up all my pennies to like go out and buy this BS4 and like babied this thing. Like, oh
Yeah.
man, I'm not going to do nothing bad to this. Here he comes in and lights it up with a can. I'm like, wow, who is this guy? But it was all right around that time. At Line by the Fire was right around then, and just started coming in more and more contact with you, and the name Nick Barber was coming front and center. And obviously the Jesus connection is written
Yeah.
all over you.
Several people just started calling me that. They're like, oh, look, it's the RC Jesus, you know, and it kind of stuck. And I was like, oh, you know, I'll accept it. Whatever.
And I just love your attitude in general with life, but your presence at an event, especially at USTE. I mean, you are the life of a party. And seeing you with your dog and driving around in the back of that big dump truck, or well,
Dump
we should say
truck's my
little
favorite.
dump truck. He said the secret was what, yoga?
Yeah.
You're not short man to get in the back of that thing. You make
No.
it look easy.
I'm 6'2", and I just kind of sit Indian style up in there. I need to make a pad for it because it's hard on the knees, right?
Okay.
Because my knees just bounce on the side of the box the whole time. And at 40 years old, that doesn't really fly. Yeah, 20 years ago, it wouldn't have phased me. Now, after about 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, I need padding under here. But it's all right. That's what I bought it for, you know, was to haul around myself and my daughter at events and things like that. It's my golf cart.
I love it.
It's a great truck.
It's
So,
fun. They work great.
So Nick, we jumped in with a great intro here to kind of break the ice, but for the people that don't know, you own a hobby shop.
Yep.
Let me give you a few minutes to tell us about the great state of Florida and where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Yeah. You gotta love living in Florida. At least I do. It's not for everybody, but I am kind of Florida man, so it suits me very well here. I moved down here, was it 2022, about 13 years ago. I started the hobby shop, Remote Control Hobbies Orlando, about 6.5-ish years ago now. Prior to that, I worked at another hobby shop, big hobby shop in the area for about 4 years. And before that, I'd never worked at a hobby shop or anything. You know, I'd always been a patron because I started wrenching on RC cars with a lunchbox back in like 1987. And I've always been into RC cars. And as a teenager, I got into full size stuff, you know, low riders, race cars, muscle cars, hot rods, whatever, race cars, anything with 4 wheels, I'm about it. And so I kind of got out of the RC stuff. And then in my early-ish 20s, I got back into the RC stuff and went buck wild, where I was staying in Michigan. The house I was at had a bunch of land, so I built a whole track for the race cars. I have a massive vintage team associated collection, virtually every single one they ever have made in new condition since 1971. So it's several hundred cars, all brand new with perfect condition boxes and paperwork. I do another cardinal sin that people freak out about. I buy new in box, and I hunt these things for a deal, right? eBay things that are ending at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday, so they go cheap, and I'm patient. And I'll take that box and cut it right open and build it. And people are just like, you can't do that. And I'm like, I bought it. It's mine. I can do whatever I want with it. You know? So I want to build it and display it. I don't plan to sell it. You know, the value's not the issue to me. It's completely collection. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've been into RC a long time. I was originally going to start a full-size custom car shop. Then the economy tanked. And after getting a job at a hobby shop, I worked there for a while. And I'm like, well, I can parlay all of my schooling and past experience working at full-size shops and stuff very easily into the hobby side of things. And I know that well. I've been doing it since I was a kid. So let's give it a shot. So now in a hobby shop. I actually am in the process. It's pretty much official as of today of buying another company. I just picked up Gear Jammer RC, which makes 1/14 parts. So I'm now in the business of selling you fifth wheel plates and
Oh,
stacks and bumpers and all kinds of stuff. It's a small little
yeah.
gig right now,
Yep.
but over the next couple of years, you know, I know how to engineer and design stuff, whatnot. I'm great with all that. I've helped with a lot of prototyping on vehicles people know about out there and stuff. You know, they just don't know I was involved in designing parts. I'd like to do a lot of behind the scenes stuff as well, you know, consulting work, designing, prototyping, all kinds of help with people in that way that no one even knows about, because it's just for fun and to make the hobby better for everybody in the business. But yeah, so that's going to be exciting. I can't wait to get that moving and add even more products to that. Hopefully get that going over in Asia and Europe and stuff with some contacts there too. So, you know, go all out because that's what I do.
That's great.
Well, that's fantastic. So these trucks that you're building, is there a heck of a display? Is it worthy of stopping by just to see some of these things in the shop? Is that where you build them and put these trucks?
My stuff is most of what's available to see at the shop. I have 2 big cases full of vintage cars, like some of the coolest old associated vintage, the collection out there with their boxes and all that stuff on stands looking pretty. And then I keep a little bit of the heavy equipment and semi truck stuff there, some of my personal scale rigs, you know, I've got a lot of my bashers up there, my primal raminators up there, a lot of other stuff. But most of the semi truck and heavy equipment stuff's here with me at the house in my hobby.
Okay. Well, congrats on taking
Thank you,
that
sir.
big leap.
It should be fun.
That's fantastic. And I know Peter is a big fan of your hobby shop. You got one of your micros there, and
Yep.
I know what you do making it portable. I would love to see the behind the scenes of what goes into packing everything up and bringing it to USTE, because when you get on site at that event, you have one hell of a spread.
It's a nightmare and a disaster to both get there and get back. It's a lot of work bringing all that stuff.
And that's one thing that I want to say. You know, that was so impressive at USTE. Like Nick's setup, you know, from every part, you know, down to full size rigs right out of RTR the box. I mean, he had everything. I mean, I was so impressed. Even that's when the Gladiator hit. I mean, those Gladiators were flying out of that booth, and you know, just the setup and the amount of time that Nick puts in for that display at USDE. It's like he brings the whole hobby shop there, you know.
And what it is, you know, it's obviously not the whole shop because we've got planes and bashers and all that, but it literally is all of the crawler and scale stuff.
So
all of it from the shop comes. You know? All of the 114 stuff comes, and even some of the basher stuff nowadays. You know, we bring some Arma RTRs and wheels and tires and batteries and some of that stuff even, you know, every year it gets bigger. The first few years I can take credit for the booth and set up and running it, but the past few years all the credit goes to Aaron Garver, who's one of my employees, also a friend, great guy. He goes up there and he busts his rear. He's up early in the morning making sure everything's good to go and set up before people get there. He's there all day helping people out, doing all the sales. Because the first few years, we didn't bring as much, right? I would literally load up my vehicle to where there was just room for me to drive and the dog. And that was it. You know, you couldn't see out of any of it. I'd have other people bring stuff for me. Now we've got a trailer. I bring stuff. Aaron brings stuff in the truck. Even more stuff comes, of course. But I got to the point where I was busy. I had to do a lot of business and networking at UST. So I'd be at the booth trying to work, and someone would be like, "Oh, you got to come meet so and so and talk about this," and I'd be like, "Oh, this is going on. I need to go be involved with that," you know. So it just got really hectic, and it's to the point where I get a couple buddies to I give them free room and board, and usually pay for their tickets in. Aaron gets everything, all his stuff covered, and of course he's making his hourly wage too while he's there. And then it's a free weekend and trip. You just got to put some work in, you know, so that Aaron can get some extra time without me having to necessarily be there because I could be God knows where. So definitely big shout out to Aaron on that one.
It's working. It looks professional. The spread
Yeah.
is massive.
And every year I try and make it look more professional. This year I went and got a bunch more little 3x2 pegboard sheets to help hang stuff. We had Aaron had it set up beautifully this year. And then we had that wind that came through for like 20 minutes and literally picked one of the tents up, blew everything over. And it was like towards the end of the first day, right? I'm like, why can't this happen Sunday morning towards the end of the event? You know, why's it gotta be Friday at like 3:30? When it was he did such a great job. It was set up just like a little store. But we recovered, you know, we got stuff picked up, we made do, we marched on, people understood, they saw what happened, you know. So when things were in a bit of disarray, people got it. But yeah, definitely the shout outs to Aaron on that one nowadays, because I make sure what's coming and where we're set up and how we're going and any supplies we need. But when it comes to setting that booth up and running it, it's 95% or more him nowadays the past few years.
That's fantastic. We could do an entire show just around hobby shops, and me commending the sacrifice that you guys are making as hobby shop owners are. It's a 24/7 gig, and it's not easy. So my hat is off to you. It is a tough business, and I give you tons of praise and kudos for the success that you've made of RCH Orlando. I know it does not come without a lot of work. But I do want to touch on two other things. So, like I said, we could do a whole show praising you on just being a hobby shop owner and talking about the pros and cons. Yes. But you brought up two things. The first one is being a full scale auto mechanic. You have proven yourself with your 1-to-1 truck. That thing's a beast.
Yeah,
and I love it. You were keeping everybody updated on Facebook with your progress and headaches and parts you can't find. But it's a beast. I am so jealous of that thing. Oh, it's gorgeous. You did great work.
20 years.
And that was just a hobby, right? That was just
it's a hobby now.
On the weekends.
I used to do it professionally.
Okay.
Right. I used to be a professional mechanic, and I had a small custom shop that I did out of my garage when I was young.
Right.
And I did it for many, many years. And then realized, you know, when I wasn't going to open the custom shop because the economy had tanked, and I knew that kind of disposable income and investment wasn't going to be back for several years, but I needed to do something, right? So that's when I parlayed to the hobby side, because just being a mechanic, it's an awful job to me, especially on modern cars. So much electrical diagnostics, everything's so tight. There's a lot of plastic that, you know, after being on the road 10 years, it gets brittle. So you have to be super careful taking it off, or you break this little part and it's $400 from the dealer, you know, the customer's angry. So I got over that, but I learned a lot. I've always been a mechanic guy. I started building RC cars when I was 6. So it's how my brain works. And I have a lot of fun with it. But I had a 79 Bronco, like I do now, in high school. And it was just from California. I lived in Michigan.
It's not the same one. This is a different. Oh, I thought it was. Okay.
And I sold it. And within a few months, I was very upset that I sold it, right? Like, that was stupid. Because even back then, you didn't really see a 78 or 79 Bronco very often. They'd all been run, beat up, rusted, junked. And so my buddy found this and sent me a message on it. And I was, I casually had been looking for years, but something about this one just jumped at me like it's perfect. It's got a lot of the expensive stuff done already and swapped, like the 460 and the big wheels and tires. And all that stuff's big bucks. And then, of course, I'm saving a ton of money buying it used. So, but it was a project, right? Solid, no rust, great truck, but it was a project. It needed a whole interior. The bearings were out of the rear axle. It was a running and driving truck, but rough. So I've just been bringing it back to life. And fortunately, they've skyrocketed in price now the last 2 years. So I got in literally a few months before price just started going.
If you go to buy one now, it's
For me to
It's
buy what I
insane.
bought then would probably be double the price.
Right.
Uh,
And they're just gaining in popularity. They become like almost so commercial.
Yeah.
You literally
And they
see
only
them
made
in-
them for 2 years like that. You know,
It's-
it's only 78, 79.
right. And just in general, that era like has
Mhm.
just become so popular.
Yeah, 70s and 80s trucks are huge now,
Yeah.
and SUVs.
So in the world of 14th scale and this
Yeah.
gear jammer, are you referring to tractor trailers? Is that what we're
Yeah,
talking about?
114
Or
scale
construction?
semi-truck tractor trailers.
When you talk 1/14 scale semi tractor trailers, do the construction things fall into that bracket also?
Yes.
That's all grouped together. Okay.
All of my, as you know, I've got a load of semi-trucks and trailers and all the heavy equipment stuff, and it's all 1/14 scale.
Okay.
There are some manufacturers of heavy equipment that go 1/12 or 1/16. I think some of the cheaper Huna stuff and whatnot, as I recall, is all 1/16 instead of 1/14. So it's a little smaller, but it all works well for what it costs.
Yeah.
And to have fun with and to get your toes wet, see if you like it. And it's
I-
reasonable enough in size that it works with the bigger 1/14 hydraulic stuff.
I just know on my bucket list is a semi tractor trailer, and I know what that statement is. It's not easy. They're not
They're
cheap.
fun, man.
They're an expense, but they're fun.
Well,
But I want the sound box. I want
Okay.
working lights. I want, full blown.
That bumps it, but you can go buy it to me a kit and throw some cheap servos and radio on it. Yes,
Right.
For you can build it for $600 probably.
Okay.
You know
But
what
the
I mean?
sound
Maybe
box
less
and
if
the
you have
light
stuff
kit,
laying around.
you've
Now,
got to be
the
high.
sound, vibration, the lights are all the
Yep.
Tamiya MFC or MFU, some call it.
Yep.
Multifunction controller, multifunction
Yep.
unit. They make an American and a US version. So
Yep.
they have different blinker and horn noises and stuff
Okay.
like that,
Yep.
to match each continent. And they're great, but they're expensive. They're about the price of the kit, $400 or
Yeah,
$500.
like another. Okay, I was gonna say 350,
There's-
400.
There's some
I-
cheaper ones out there, but a lot of them tend to have issues. So, like, if it's something you're into and you're gonna keep, just pay the money for the Tamiya.
Do it. Just pay
Do it
the money.
once, do it right.
I don't know. It's just one of those things somewhere down the road.
They're
I know I'll do it one day.
if you're attracted to scales and crawler stuff from the
It's-
modeling aspect,
Yep.
like you like working with styrene and scaling stuff out, make it look real. The 1/14s are right there.
Okay.
That's part of the
That's
beauty.
why you're
They
drawn
come
to
with the
it.
hard
Yep.
body with every rivet and everything, just like the real ones, how they're put together, every detail. There's aftermarket companies like mine and others that make parts that deck them out even more.
Yep.
And so it's like a functioning model.
Yeah. And then you have
That's what I
something like
love.
USTE that's going to put a city together for you to go drive into. Like,
Yep.
it's brilliant.
Well, that's why I sponsor I sponsor the off-road vintage and monster truck stuff and the 1/14 stuff.
Okay.
Because number one, I'm into both of those. But number two, I want to see other people having fun with the stuff and then spread it around and get other people to see it in real life and see if it's for them and into it. And if it is,
Yep.
then we grow the community even larger. I'm always all about just trying to make the hobby better and
Good.
people having fun. Life for me is about having a good time. I mean, when I'm working, you know me, right? If I work and you're talking business, I'm no joke. I'm dead serious. You do not screw around. Do not waste my time. But if we're going to work, we're going to work. And then the free time is playtime. Enjoy your
Yep.
life.
Work hard, play hard.
Exactly.
Love it. Peter, do you have any words of wisdoms, questions? I know I want to ask him about RC Jesus, but before I get to that, Peter, do you have anything?
Yeah, like one of the things you touched on is, when I reached out to Nick, I'm a big advocate in supporting local hobby shops. Now, can I go on A Main? Can I go on these big stores? Absolutely. I had a product that I needed. I reached out to Nick and he delivered. Like he said, all business, no fuss, tracking numbers. I got this truck faster than he told me I would, and it was a great transaction. So. One thing I would say, if you're looking for a truck, looking for parts, definitely, reach out, support those local hobby shops. I'm a big
Thanks.
advocate in that, helping people that work hard in the industry to prolong the industry. Nick's got a great attitude about it, same as mine. How do we prolong the hobby? And I'm a big fan. If I need something, there's local hobby shops to go to first. Um, you know, so yeah, definitely check out Nick in the hobby shop. And for anybody that's watching that's in Florida in the area, definitely stop by and check out the shop.
Yep.
Well said. Well
We're
said,
open
Peter.
7 days a week too. So
7 days a week. Wow.
yeah, it's the 21st century, man. You got to do it really.
So obviously you must be wanting to plug RC Jesus. Not only do you own the nickname, but it's actually a Facebook page.
Yep.
And you're using this a resource to, I see you treat it a lot like a Twitter page. You're always throwing out little good zingers. You bring a lot of humor to the hobby. And I would tell people, you better not be a snowflake when you're hanging around Nick.
No.
You,
If you are, I am definitely the kind of guy that you hate me or love me, and I forgot and accept it, right?
yeah.
And if you're really sensitive and this kind of stuff, and snowflakey, and you can't like words actually hurt you and you're deep in your soul. I am not the kind of person to hang with because I'm old school, right?
Right. But
We
you
use
love
zinger each other
everyone,
and
but
mess
I'm going to
around.
give you a zinger.
Yeah.
You're vocal, and I think you've ended up in Facebook jail more than once.
I'm in there right now.
Okay.
16, 17 more days or something. At this point, I can only make it about 3 weeks at a time before they ban me for 30 days. So I've actually started a Twitter page. If anyone wants to follow me there,
yes.
I think a lot of people are jumping over there now with everything that's been going on.
I've done 2 tweets. I just got it. As soon as Elon bought it, I went on and got a Twitter page.
Especially because he's like, look, I'm looking to protect free speech, right? Like you can't go on here and spout hate speech and just be a total a-hole or anything and be racist or anything that's horrible. But, you can have your opinions and say what you want and use words other people might not necessarily like,
Right.
My vocabulary can be a little sailorish. And so I was like, that's perfect. That's what I need. Just true free speech, right?
Yes.
And so I'm at RC Jesus 420.
Oh,
and
420.
Yeah, it's just a random number I like.
It's you.
I like to stay really safe and have meetings. Safety meetings regularly.
Meetings at RC Jesus 420.
All one word, no underscores, no hyphens.
All right.
So you can follow me there. I've got a personal one too, but that's part of why I do RC Jesus too, is I try and keep my personal stuff, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be, to just people I physically personally know, right? And then RC Jesus could be like whoever, if you like watching what I do and stuff, come follow along and comment and joke around. We'll go back and forth and have a good old time, and hopefully you learn some stuff. Maybe you can teach me some stuff too, so.
And that's I think a great statement. I can't praise you and say that you know it all, but I think you're definitely a resource to be able to come and learn something. But the best way to put it for anyone is always be willing to learn something new every day. I've always got both ears open, eyes wide open, ready to learn. And, I'm going to experiment with some dye and try something new.
That took me way back to Rit dye.
I mean,
RC 10 days dyeing white parts pink and purple and blue.
People were dyeing RPM parts and been dyeing stuff for a while. I know it's not earth shattering. People have been doing it for a while. I just never tinkered around with it. Never got around to it, but it makes so much sense with a rock bouncer not to spray the outside of this buggy cage. Like, we might as well dye this thing. It's just going to get nicked up and banged off.
Scratch right up.
Yeah. So I'm like, we need to dye it. So you know what? It'll be an experiment, something new. One reason to get me out of bed.
If you've never done it, the longer you keep it in, the darker it will get. And do not use any of your wife's cookware.
Right.
Go to the
These
store
are going to be
buy a cheap,
dollar store aluminum.
Pan, and use that. If you use the wife's cookware, you will be on the couch for
divorce
week.
Used to that.
See, I'm a single man, so I literally have a water pump and timing cover for 460 sitting
You
in my
are-
living room in front of me. I have parts for the 460 soaking and Dawn in the sink. I've got RC stuff everywhere, steering wheel and valve covers on my living room table, you know. It's a bachelor pad over here. And women would walk in and be like, "Oh Christ, I can't live with this guy."
You opened the door to this now. You are a bachelor, yes,
Mhm.
but you are also a single dad.
Yep, and I gotta give Cadence a shout out. It's their 9th birthday today.
Well,
She
happy
would usually
birthday,
be here
Cadence.
with me, but her mom and stepdad took a cruise.
Okay.
Leaving today because they were supposed to get married.
Yep.
It's not happening now because the coronavirus stuff. They canceled all the weddings, but the cruise is still going. So, anyways, unfortunately, I'm missing her. But happy birthday, Cadence! If you see this later, I love you, sweetheart. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. And yeah, I love being a single dad.
So you just took my statement and put the exclamation mark on it, because I will call it a deadbeat dad anytime.
Yeah.
But you, sir, are a great father. And you can
Thank
see
you.
that in the way you conduct yourself at an event with her. You put that princess front and center, and you can always spot a good father. And hats off to you, because not
Thanks.
only are you gifted in all other areas, but you are also a great father, and it should not go unnoticed or unrecognized. So great job, Nick. You're
Thanks,
doing a
man. She's
great
my
job.
she's the number one priority always. So
And it's clear.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job. Well, we are going to
Every
wrap
day.
it up here with our friend, Nick Barber, RC Jesus. Peter, do you have any parting words, wisdom? I don't want to cut you off.
No, it's okay. Yeah, Nick, thanks for joining. I know we set this up a while ago, and always look forward to seeing you at events. Hopefully, it'll be next time soon. Great to see the
yeah, I'll see Mike at BTC, but not you, unfortunately. So,
But that was the question I was going to end with, Nick. I was going to ask you, so are you going to be at Beat the Creek? And I think I just heard it. You are.
Never worked until this year, and this year it worked out schedule-wise that I can make it.
And
Mike, if
listen,
you can get him on the show when you go.
Yeah,
live.
well, hey, he can sit down with
part of
Jeremy.
our whole crew that we're going
Then
together.
perfect.
everybody's
You guys
hotel
will
rooms
say
and
you guys
stuff,
will
so
say hello to
We'll
me.
I'll be
all
around.
hang together.
Side.
Big safety meeting Saturday night. It'll be a
Yes,
fun
we
show.
like to keep it very safe all the time. At
So I'll
events.
make sure that I run things from this.
Yeah, you better.
I'll make sure I run it from the hobby room, not from the controls will be with me.
Well, that just made
so-
my day. I had no idea you were going, Nick.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna
that's
be a riot.
exciting. Yes, so we'll have plenty to-
Saturday, you'll find me in the barn playing with heavy equipment all day.
Perfect.
And then Saturday night or Friday night might do a night run, and then probably do a run on Sunday.
Perfect.
But my buddy's bringing all my heavy equipment up. Joe said he's got a whole big badass place set up for it. So I'm like,
Nice.
I got some other buddies bringing stuff. So I'm like, we are going to sit there in a lawn chair with a drink. And some
Love
smokes,
it.
And non-alcoholic drink, of course, sodas.
Of course.
Because of BTC, and some smokes, cigarettes,
Yep.
and just hang out and play with heavy equipment all day.
I love it. Yeah, the whole event is just new to me. I've only ever heard stories, and I'm just completely looking forward to a whole new experience. So
Me too.
Chris Lindgren and Joe Hawkey with this
Great guys.
outlaw, great guys.
both years.
Yes, we've bumped into them here and there at Recon G6s and USTE. I've been bumping into them forever, and I'm so excited that everything just kind of aligned perfectly for this event.
And guys commenting that are going. So
Perfect.
there'll be a lot of people, and good
It's
luck.
turned into one of these must-attend events of the year.
Yeah.
And I've heard you, Nick, several times rattle off on your hand, like, these must-attends. And I always hear you mention Beat the Creek somewhere in there. You got to get to this one. And it's moved into that bracket of one of those.
I'm glad I can
must-attends.
finally make it and pop my Beat
Good.
the Creek cherry this year.
Fantastic.
I'm
Love
jealous I'm not going.
I know. Well,
Next year.
maybe next year. That's
Already
that's the
bought
old the old standby. Will you be at,
Yep.
USTE? So
how about Proline by the Fire?
I'll
have
be
you-
there.
You are.
oh
Well, then there you
think
go,
about
Pete.
going.
We're doing everything we can to put
I
Proline by the
think
Fire
this
on the
year,
books.
Beat the Creek, the crew I'm rolling with is Me, Josh, RC every day.
Yep.
Jeremy, Big Squid. The Scale and Squids, Jeremy's buddies, our buddies,
Yep.
good guys,
Oh,
Mike
what
and
a
Wayne,
dude! That
and
his
Greg.
crew.
And then
Great
Pro Line
guys.
by the Fire should be me and John Holmes and RC every day.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Now,
we're gonna get.
will you fly to Pro Line by the Fire?
I'm flying to both.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Perfect. I wish I was flying to Kentucky. We're gonna drive.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I used to drive, but this event with everything I'm going on, I didn't have the days.
The time.
to drive.
Okay. It shaves off a ton of time. People don't appreciate, how much.
This saves me at least 2 days, right there.
Well, that
I was
I
actually
will never.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm home Monday.
I will never drive back to USTE ever again. I mean, that puts 2 days both ways. That adds like 4 days to the event. Never. And when
I
you can
guess
jump on a plane
easier
2 hours
like-
later.
Yeah, and people do that where they ship stuff to me.
Yep.
Friends of mine in the industry like you and Reef and other guys and stuff.
Just get it.
They'll be like, hey, look, I'm just gonna ship this, and then if you don't have room, we can pick it up when we land in Orlando, or you can take it up for us, whatever. I'm like, yeah, no problem.
It's the way to go.
RC Pro Drive ships stuff to us for it, all kinds of people. So
nice mug. I see a GCM mug there.
Yep.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, I
for
gotta
you.
love the GCM boys. I'm desperately missing my Canadian.
I bet
contingent.
it's this pandemic brought.
Cannot wait for them to assemble the V and fly back down here.
Well, Nick, we are going to see you in a couple weeks. I can't wait.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much for coming on here, suffering your Saturday
Yeah, it
night
was a
with
pleasure,
us.
man.
I
You
loved
guys are
it.
great. It's always good to
Thank
be
you.
with you too.
Thank you. All right, fade him out, Pete, and
Bye.
Nick Barber. You guys met him, people. If you have the chance to bump into that guy at Beat the Creek, if you've never met Nick Barber before, I highly encourage you, go up and say hello. You've seen it for yourself, how approachable he is, and you will not regret it.
Yeah, it was great. Another great guest. I did get a message from Judd. He said the 24 racks are live. So
that was the word we've been waiting. That's like, you need the breaking news, like music or something, like scroll across the screen. Thank you. We need some kind of breaking news music or something happening, because that takes a second there to really let that sink in, people. You heard it here first on the Rad RC show from the man himself. Judd Rummage just made the announcement. The Micro Pro Rack is officially on the site. So congrats to you, Judd. Peter, look what he's done in a short time period. I mean, well, not short. That's kind of, it's twisted. They've been in development for a while, but clearly there has been a massive influx in sales in the last several months, and he's expanded the inventory, and the micro rack is available. So for you people with your new 24 scales out there, you have a place to hang it on the shelf. Peter's got a great rack assembled there, put together as a sample. Fantastic. So the Elite Mini Rack is officially on the site, rcprorack.com. Pete, we might be able to do something where we put some sort of link up in a post that we share or something. We'll make sure we do. We're going to get better at this. We're going to get thumbnails worked out and make the YouTube page more presentable. But when we do the post, anyone that we mentioned, from Crawler Cole to 2.4 Designs to Judd Rummage and RC Pro Rack, RCH Orlando, we'll get all of these links up in the Facebook post and on the YouTube channel, place that you can link right to it and check it out for yourself.
Judd put another breaking news in the chat. So the XL will be up on the site tonight as well.
That is fantastic. So
everything will be up on the site. The big boy trucks, the minis.
Good for him.
Look at Mike behind Mike. You'll see all the Pro Racks. Great system. Definitely check out Pro Rack. I'll when I post up the YouTube after the show, I'll include a link to the website. Yeah, so interesting week.
Yes.
I know, I can't keep up with the trucks I'm getting weekly, but
You've been on this bend. You've been in this little whirlwind here, Peter.
3 trucks in a month. I know quite a few people like that, but I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
Like,
What a great body. I
when
mean,
I got the Bronco, I was just like, wow. Axial. If you remember back when they came out with the Jeep that's behind me,
yep.
the
No
bed,
interior.
and they started going up. Where when they did the Gladiator to the Bronco, it's like they just got it figured out with these micros now.
They've
It's just right out of the box. You got a driver, scale accessories. Like you were the one who told me the Gladiator, get the Gladiator, and then I see the Bronco, and I'm like, wow, this is just as good or better. I mean, the spare wheel on the back, the driver, the roof.
and I thought the Gladiator was going to be it. Like I really thought they got here with some cool scale accessories. They bolted some stuff on. They, got the interior done right. Yeah, I really thought they were on to something. Now one of the first upgrades I think I did on this truck, something that you can find over at Powerhobby.
Servo, light post.
Yeah, we got a couple of these. If you're looking to get a little bit more runtime in your micro, I'm rocking this little 450.
450.
Yep. What a simple, easy upgrade to do right out of the box and get yourself, I mean, a noticeable difference in runtime. I saw someone make a comment the other day, as you're running lights on these things, run them with confidence. You're not draining the batteries now. Yeah, Powerhobby, they have a nice little easy fitting micro battery.
And you got a servo mount, right? Also.
Well, yes, great point. So we did do the lighting on here is horrible, but this is a micro servo, and Powerhobby did make a adjustable, almost want to call it universal. The adjustability in the Powerhobby mount allows you to slide forward for different brand servos. So if you got a Reefs 99 micro that you want to slap in here, easily done. With
It's a good product.
Yeah, solid little option to.
And
So I dropped in
always,
one of Powerhobby's versions of it's comparable to a Reefs 99. It's the Powerhobby version, mounted up with their mount system. Then obviously what needs to happen then is the mountain of crap that I've got here from Powerhobby. So they've done bumpers for the SCX24. It's not doing it any justice in these packages, but
that's the Trail.
Yes, this is all from Trail with their skid running boards. There's so much cool stuff. Check out Trail's new Stinger bumper.
Oh, that's the bumper I gotta get.
The new Stinger bumper for this thing. Now, the rest is all micro stuff, but I have to do 1/10 scale little nod here. So one of the great things that you see with Trail's wheels is that they look sick as hell, like on their website, but one of the cool treats when you get your Trail wheels in the mail and you hold them up in person, I don't even know if the video is going to do it any justice with the lighting, but these copper colored wheels look so ridiculously cool in person.
It's the H types, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are the black ones.
You got the black.
Yeah,
Okay.
Black, and I put the titaniums on the Rebel today. I posted up a picture.
Nice.
What I like about these, I mean, less than 25 minutes these were mounted, and the bead is perfect. This has the aluminum center ring.
Correct.
And you could take the hubs off. This is a good wheel. Check out the H types, just released, and like Mike said, just released counterweights for the Bronco and for the changeable to other 24s. Trail's got a good pipeline, a lot of good things coming out. Check the fans page for new products being released weekly. I feel like every week there's something new coming out. But those H-type wheels are fantastic. The finish, is just great. Definitely check them out.
I know I'm away from the microphone. Let me just step back from the mic for 1 second. I am so freaking proud of the way this Vanquish Phoenix turned out. But here it is from a distance. At a glance, front, side, the paint job, this thing, yes, these, yep, trail wheels. Now, one of the side notes in here, if you're not familiar with the Vanquish Phoenix, this is a pretty complex truck. You've got a dig servo down here. So there's a dig servo. You've got your shift servo over here, high, low. It's such a complex trans, but you can get your shift servo dig built in there. It's got the copperhead set up here. Then we have a direct voltage, high direct voltage servo powered here. First time ever using a high voltage direct power servo. So that wire goes off the LiPo end of the battery for more power. I mean, I've never used one of them before. A low profile servo winch. What an intense truck to get all of the endpoints set up so nothing snaps, everything works. I mean, luckily I have friends in all the right places that when the going gets tough, I can call upon them. We had Craig Milley from Size Matters come down, help me with the rugged radio to get all of the endpoints set right. My good friend Glenn Shelley and his hobby shop, getting some of the other quirky issues all squared away. I mean, without teamwork, this thing wouldn't have gotten done. Not to mention the paint job from Adam Helpler, a local guy, painted up the body for me. We finally got it up and running. If it's going to Beat the Creek, I don't know yet. I really would love to take it there. I kind of built it for Beat the Creek, but still haven't decided if that's going to be the final one. But yeah, small little build update on my end.
Yeah, that's some build.
Very intense. I mean,
still working on what to do with this thing. I'm still thinking. I just saw Jeremy Kilburn took it apart. He painted it. We named
Golden Nugget.
He's gold member from Austin. But I took this thing out. It's fun. It's got a lot of potential. The scale, it's a cool looking truck.
Now the scale, when we're talking FMS, they're going to hit it out of the park every time. And what a great looking truck. It's different. And
my first one. I mean,
you did great, Pete.
And you know what? We joked about your suitcase. Let's talk.
Yes.
We could keep going. I just want to get this story. So
yeah,
when I got his FMS at USTE, we were joking in the airport about transporting it. It comes in a nice little briefcase, right?
Yep.
Say approved. You got to see the suitcase that this thing came in. It's like this big, and it has handles just like your Jimmy, but it's like
really.
Oh yeah,
Shut up.
It's like I gotta send you a picture. It's like this big. It has handles. It has 2 latches.
Shut up.
Yeah. So it's my first FMS. Here in Good Things. They make some cool. I'm looking at that 18th scale Land Cruiser. I think the Toyota.
How about the Mog that they just released? Cool. Oh, dude. So they'll be at Beat the Creek, and I already sent them a message. I'm like, yeah, you better make sure you have one of them saved for me because I'm coming home with that Mog.
Yeah. Yeah, FMS has some really cool stuff out. I mean, here in Long Island, there's only like 2 hobby shops near me, and one of them I went to was all FMS everywhere.
Yep.
It's just,
and we were able to see them at USTE, Pete, and we were able to get a firsthand tour and see the booth and get a good glimpse. I had a big learning experience to realize all the stuff that they had in their fleet. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that you were making all this great stuff. So there's so many options. They continue to keep coming out with more, and they will be at Beat the Creek with that same display set up again. So if you're going to Beat the Creek, you're going to have the great pleasure to meet up with the guys over at FMS. You'll be able to meet the great guys over at RC Car Action, Big Squid RC. The entire crew will be around. It will be awesome. Yes. Oh, Pete.
So
great job. I love this thing.
I just put the rack on this thing.
Okay.
Some more accessories on that. I don't know if you saw.
No, I did not.
The snorkel on the front.
So that okay. Now, does that snorkel come in the kit, or is that after?
This was extra.
Okay.
Once I did the rack, I gotta weigh this thing. This is probably the heaviest truck. It's got to be over 10 pounds.
I would love to know what it is to weigh it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the scales tonight, on the Powerhobby scales. This thing is so heavy. It's just.
I'd love to know what it weighs. I
took
really
it out last week, and the shifting, it's smooth. Just a great. This BRX2, they really did a good job.
The Boom Racing BRX V2. Pete, you did hit on something. I do think that next week I would like to spend a minute and kind of highlight the Powerhobby weight, the Powerhobby Bluetooth scale.
Yeah,
this brought up yes, thank you.
Thing is just unbelievable. I mean, for the here was an example the other day. We needed to know what the RTR weight of the Bronco was out of the box.
Correct.
The app and the way these things sync to your phone, corner weights for the comp guys. You want to know your front and rear ratio. This is just such a handy tool. It comes with these little pucks. They Bluetooth automatically once you turn them on. 4 of them, and you get all your diagnostics on your iPhone.
Right there, right on your iPhone.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
there is no more wires, no little small computer wired off to.
What was the company? Fly Sky, the one.
Yes, was yes. So a scale's nothing new. Scales have been out forever, but the technology has caught up, and to be Bluetooth and dialed in with an app on your phone. And like you said, Pete, it sets up very easily. You set your pucks up, they're labeled, drop them in the corners, and it became very useful. So I went through, I weighed all of my micros this week. The main reason I really wanted to get into it was I wanted to know what this Vanquish Phoenix looked like. Not in person. I wanted to know what it looked like on the scale. Tell me percentages. I want to know right and left, front and rear. And I'm blown away. I mean, on the scale, the thing is sexy. It's right on. To me, it's everything you'd want. It's balanced just perfectly with a little bit more front.
You know what's good about it? If you go to events or comp events and you need to make real-time adjustments, I mean, it's a great tool to throw in your box. It's
and it's small enough to throw in a box. It's
great. We'll do a deeper dive into it.
Perfect.
We'll go over it next week, and
I think it'd be a great idea.
Yeah, so that's basically it for the week. I mean, the Losi dropped the truck. I know that
yes,
a little buzz on the internet. Casey Curry inspired. That was pretty cool looking. Mixed reviews on that. It seems like every week, there's another release. I'm hoping to stay out of the 24 game now. I think I have plenty, unless something else comes out next week. But I think they did good with this hard body, a hard body 24, and the way this thing looks. Nice little truck, man. A lot of potential. But and then the other thing, we were talking about the brushless system. So
I know where we're going.
I just wanted to touch on this. So this, Nick, you're still on. This is upgraded after I got it from you. You can see a lot of trail lines and the FureTech system.
So tell me a little bit about this. Was it hard to put in?
Well, I will say this, just after doing this today, this is not the right truck to put this system in. Just because there's a lot of...
Because of the interior?
Well, yes, the interior, you could see I have a little Dremel. I use the Dremel because it's transmission case. I had to cut the electronics tray. I
Yep.
had to move stuff.
Yep.
A lot of the YouTube videos are on the Jeep 24
Yep.
and custom chassis. But I will say this, once this is all buttoned up, as soon as I powered this thing on, you notice a difference right away.
Okay.
Smoothness of it. It was
How about the Betty? I wonder if the Betty would be okay because there's no interior on that.
yeah, I mean, you might be better with the Betty.
Okay.
You know, but with the Gladiator, there's just a lot of, you know, with the
With the-
tray, the
Yep.
interior,
Yeah.
there's a lot of mod that I had to do. But
So
once
you were able to turn it on and take it out even for a little spin yet, and you noticed
right away.
it's, okay.
It's got a little noise to it,
Yep.
from the stock, but it, you know, it's
Same controller or different controller?
I actually put it to the Spectrum, my rugged. So I'm
So
using,
did you have to change that receiver then?
yes.
Okay.
So the FureTech has two options. You could plug, they have a wiring harness that goes right into the stock ESC.
Yep.
But with the Gladiator, you're going to run into a problem the way the motor mounts. So
Yep.
because there's an electronics tray there, so it's not going to work. So I have it going right into my Spectrum, and it's kind of like I don't know, kind of nestled in there. I mean, it's
Yep.
see how it's sideways.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, you know, 24s. I mean, there's no room to work with.
No.
So,
No.
Yeah, it's a cool little gadget. You know, I'm happy that Dreamer and I were able to work on that, and yeah, we'll see. Tomorrow I got to button up some wiring, and we'll see how it goes. But what a project, man!
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we'll skip that next time.
Wow.
But the comp guys love it. You know, they say
Yeah.
it's a game changer. You know, it's just
Absolutely.
interesting to see. And you know, the coolest thing about it is it comes with a Bluetooth module, connects right to your phone, just like you
Yep.
know, the Axial system. And
Yep.
you do all the adjustments on your phone, and in 2 seconds, it's updated firmware. It's not a bad setup. I mean, if you get it to work,
It's
a lot of
definitely it's an investment. But if you're into the world of micros and you want to, look for a solid upgrade, it seems like the way to go. I know a ton of people that have put that Fury system in their micros
that
and are
Stinger
very
bumper,
happy.
that Stinger bumper.
Yes, yes.
So that's a trail thing, the next trail thing to get. But
Nice.
yeah, so
Yeah.
Nick, heavy upgraded since you sent it.
It looks great. I got the high clearance blue axles myself. I have that steering link for the front. I have all that. Wow, it really looks great, Pete.
Yeah,
Looks sharp.
The blue looks cool.
It does. Now I went with all of that blue, but I went with the blue on the tan body just as an accent.
And
I'm excited. I'm gonna try and get all that stuff mounted up tomorrow myself.
So, Mike, you need a FureTech system.
I do. Don't even start, Peter. Don't. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even.
Nick, hit up Nick. He'll take care of you.
I don't even want to hear it. Oh, well, even
are
looking at this, I was like, man, the wind is just taken out of my sails right now. I looked at it and I'm like, where do I even begin with this thing? I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go to Beat the Creek, let my micro die down a little bit, and then I'll come back.
Well, let me ask you before we get off the live, you know, usually the trend is, right? We're going into May, right?
Yep.
You look back years past, you know, in the wintertime, Northeast, people play with their micros, right? They build it, people that build their courses. And then once it starts getting warmer out, the micros go away. But you see the trend this year, going into May, I bought 2 micros in 1 month, less than 2 months, 3 months. I got 5 now, I think. And, and the micros, there's parts still coming out, Trio, Powerhobby.
Yes, the vibe for the micro is starting. It's not full year. I'd agree with you. The micros were always a winter thing. It was just got grouped into the indoor winter project. But I agree with you, Peter. It seems to be stretching longer and longer. We're going into May. I'd love to see, is a micro front and center come June or July, or do they get shelved until October, November? We'll have to wait and see. You're right. Good point.
I'm going to keep this stock, I think.
I'm staying as close to stock for a while.
I just love the way this one looked.
Yeah, maybe some wheels and tires, something simple.
You got to do the wheels. I mean,
yeah,
you need a little upgrade.
Those look great. Yeah.
All right, man.
Um,
Good show,
well,
man.
yeah, it was a
Great
great
show,
show,
great
Pete.
guest.
We still I haven't eaten anything all day. We've been on the grind since early this morning. We got my daughter up, took her to get her nails. Then she got spray tanned. Then she had a professional makeup artist come to the house to do her makeup and her hair. It's been all day long grooming and getting my daughter ready for this dance. And then it was all about the photos. We did photos at one location, then the limo came and we went out to the lake and did the photos all over again. We did them with grandparents, with parents, without them, with the brother, without the brother. We went through the whole cycle of family members, got photos done. And I'm looking at the clock and it's like almost 9:30. I still haven't eaten dinner yet. So
Walking tacos.
no, I ordered pizza at 7:30 tonight. I called the pizza shop and I told them, I said, don't put my pizza in until 9 o'clock. I said, I'll be over at 9:30 to pick it up. So that is it for me, dude. It's been one hell of a great week. Peter, thank you again for everything. It's
Great
been
week.
amazing. We got a great setup for Beat the Creek. But that we have another show before then.
Yeah, and
So-
don't forget, also King of the Castle's coming up. I know guys on the
Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday? I almost got that wrong.
next week. I know
So
guys.
for the local cats, great point, Peter. King of the Castle. We've been there. It's a great time. Great event. So if anybody's
Busy,
looking, we'll put a link to King of the Castle for those guys. Anybody looking to get out, hang with the New Jersey Scale, the NJ Scale crew over at King of the Castle. Great job, Peter.
Yeah,
Great reminder.
they do a good job, Nick and his whole crew. Even
Yes.
if you don't want to comp, they still have some dollhouses set up. You still
Dude,
trail. I
we had a
remember when we went-
blast cruising the trails there. They did a great job.
Yeah, so for the local guys, I know there's some guys on the call now that are going
Yep.
next week. So have a great time. I'm not going to make it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it. But yeah. So you basically got King of the Castle and then Beat the Creek. So yeah, we'll have a show next week and then we'll go
Awesome.
live from Beat the Creek. I'll be at the admin controls when you guys are having your safety meeting. All right. So yeah, we'll look forward to next week. Keep it
Perfect.
positive, share your adventures, and we'll see you next week.
Heck yeah. Thank you. See